Hey, ha! Ha ha! Look at that. That is hilarious. That's the best thing I've seen in a long time. It's so tiny. Hey folks, we're back on what I'm assuming is going to be a real sweaty Friday in Australia, or probably freezing if you're elsewhere in the world. I definitely need one of these. It's just warm. Now, I spend a lot of time on AliExpress purchasing stupid shit that I don't really need, or really don't need, I should say. But I came across this, and it's different, and I'd never heard of it before. So I thought I've got to buy it. And I got it from the Studio 01 or 01 Studio Trader. They have a pretty cool store on AliExpress, lots of interesting stuff. But they stock this thing. This is what has really got me interested. This is what's called the Walnut Pi. And this is a credit card or zero form factor. So this one's the 01, but they've got the 1B model, which is your more familiar credit card form factor. H618-based SBC. And this is actually, semi-decent SBC. You got HDMI, dual USB Type-C, onboard antenna, H618, up to 4 gig of RAM, 40-pin ports, expansion interface, boot buttons, SD card slot, and just a rather impressive compact build for a Zero. Now, we've seen the H618, 616 before on some other things like the Mango Pis, but this came with a whole pile of other options that I could purchase and test out, so I had to buy that too. Let's get into this and actually see what it does, because it's pretty cool. You're going to see. Now, to quickly get this bit out the way, thought it's worth doing. This video is sponsored by PCB, and you know how this goes. Link below, $5 off your first order. Now, that link helps them know that, you're supporting this channel and that I'm supporting them. And if you're doing prototyping, $5 off your first order means it's free. You just pay for shipping. So I'd really appreciate it if you'd click the link below, sign up for a free account, go and have a look at what they've got. They've got projects other people have made that you can order, and they've got a module store. Not to mention, it's not just PCBs. They do CNC machining with the widest range of materials I've ever seen. And they also do 3D printing in pretty much every format you might want, along with any sort of, pretty much the entire development process of any product. So it's worth having a look at. They sponsor me to make these videos for you guys. It would be awesome if you could support them. Don't forget as well that I do have my Patreon if you want to support me directly. It's always appreciated. You get early access to the videos without ads. You can chat, ask for help, talk crap, whatever you want. Now, moving on, I found this listing, $40 and $7 shipping. So it's got a little bit of price on it, but they had a bundle that's actually not showing up here anymore. It comes with an LCD screen as well. So I think I paid maybe $80 in the end, but H618 is, it's not rock chip, it's Allwinner. And I've kind of always had a bit of a soft spot for the Allwinner H618, 616s. But, zero form factor as well, with what looks like quite a tidy build. So I'm very, very curious about that. The option that they had, though, also had an LCD screen. So right now it's listed separately for another $10 plus shipping. And this hilariously tiny compressed UI just looks like I need to know more about it and see if it even works. So I paid a bit of a premium, which is why I need the sponsors to get this thing. Now, it was Studio 01, and you might have seen I had a link. I don't know why those things are highlighted. Oh, there we go. Highlighted. Had a link to this documentation, so it looks like Studio 01 may can sell some other stuff, but they don't have anything about the Walnut Pi on there. So I found their GitHub. They don't have anything about the Zero on there. They've only got the 1A and 1B. So I just thought the 1B is H618 as well. I think I'll download that image. If we have a look here, 1B, sorry, yeah, H618. So I'll get that image. That's the Pi form factor, the credit card form factor one there. And you see they've got the 2B, which has a completely different SoC. I might try that out. I'm thinking about it. Problem so far, though, the documentation. This is the English documentation. So, I don't know. I just thought I'll try some crackhead rubbish from AliExpress. It might not be rubbish, because I do believe you get what you pay for. And this had a pretty price tag on it. And you can see they've got a bit about Qt5, OpenCV. It's not just copy and paste. They've even got info about Home Assistant, and I don't see this often. Now, in the getting started up here, where are we? You can see they've got Debian 12. Yep, righto. 2204, Home Assistant, Android TV, Debian 12. Again, that's going to be their OS, I'm guessing. You can download it from Bido, but you, of course, need an account. I don't want to do that. You can get it from GitHub, which is what I'm rolling the dice on. And there might be other repos, but English, mate. Now, let's just jump straight in and see what we've got here. So we've got the credit card form factor board. It's pretty damn nicely manufactured. If you have a look a bit closer, it is, yeah, very reasonable looking board. I've got no issues with the way this is assembled, how clean the solder is. The silk screen's looking pretty nice. They've even got, you know, clear little markers down here about a few pads that you can possibly short to change configuration. Decent size ceramic SMD Wi-Fi antenna there. And you can also see the, oh, wow, can I get that close? Now, if you have a look at that ceramic antenna, have a look at that one trace. There we go, going all the way back up. They've got a curved trace that's then going straight back to the antenna port on the Wi-Fi SOS, the Wi-Fi module there. So they've put some effort into the design. Looks like there might be series termination resistors on there, but that's a big one, so I'm curious about that. We've then got our 40 header pins and get into it, and a little heat sink there. We've got our little FPC ribbon to attach the I/O board, which is in here, and I'm just going to abuse this to get it open. So this gives us what I'm going to assume is 10100 Ethernet and sticky tape. Audio jack, which looks like it is left, right, ground. USB 2.0 headers there. We've got some extra pins there. So, we've got a I guess, broken out UART interface there with both 3.3 and 5 volt pins. So that is pretty impressive. And we've got an IR. Looks like it's got send and receive. So we've got an IR module there. That's a nice board on its own. Then we have this tiny little LCD. So this is, what did that page say? How big is this thing? This is a 1.54 inch high-speed SPI LCD display. And I reckon that's pretty awesome. So that bangs straight on the headers there. You've got a whole pile of SPI pins, but I don't think you'd have to use those. I think you can put it on the header or use those. You see, that's the interface there, and you got some user keys. So SPI up to 60 megahertz is pretty bloody good. 240 by 240 pixel and some user configurable keys. So that's pretty neat. We of course have a plastic case here that we can assemble it all with, but what I'm going to do is quickly slap this together, might do a little time lapse or something about it, and then we'll get back to it and actually boot it up and see what the hell happens. Hold please. Well, somehow my recording stuffed up, and when I paused it, unpaused or something or other, and you missed some of the build. But I got it put together, and blimey, to quote my granddad, that is one neat little looking unit. And see if I can get a good thumbnail shot there of some sort. Where's my focus is going to be? Not with autofocus, isn't it? It's going to be about there. Yeah. Look at that thing though. That's a hell of a little device. So I don't like this FPC sticking out so much. I probably try to wedge it in there or something if I can. There we go. Yeah, do this at your own risk, but that's a interesting little board. So when it's being assembled, of course, you got your base plate there, so it's got something to rest on. You got to remember to put these FPC connectors in and your heat sink. But that's about it. So what I'm going to do now is flash this image to an SD card because it has no onboard storage, and we'll stick the SD card in. I'll be back in a tick once that's done, and we'll see what happens when this boots. I'm really excited. I'm very curious. So hold tight a tick and let's see. Now, for anyone that's curious, I'm just flashing this using the disks utility under Linux. You can use Balena Etcher if you prefer under Windows, or disks or Balena on Mac, I believe. And that's just ticking along there to one of my HP MX330 SD cards that I do have in stock if you need any. And trust me, the prices are going up. So whilst that's going, I thought I'd have a look at this block diagram. The H618 is a quad-core A53. So it's a pretty low power SoC, but it can still do decoding 4K at 60 FPS, which is awesome. And it can encode 4K at 25 FPS. So this doesn't have MIPI, CSI, or DSI, but it's got a bit of grunt to it. You've then, of course, got your audio codec, your display interfaces, which HDMI 2.0A 4K at 60 FPS is pretty bloody neat for such a tiny board. Supports DDR4. Now, I'm not sure what's on this. I might have to have a close look at the SoC, but that's a 32-bit DDR4 bus. It's got the option for NAND flash, which this doesn't have. It does have a small SPI flash footprint on the back though, which isn't populated, but you might have seen it there. You've then got your ARM Mali G31 GPU. We'll be seeing what the video or what drivers are included, if it works, if we've got 2D, 3D, that sort of thing. Then all your connectivity, and that includes a 1 gigabit embedded Mac for your Ethernet, which is insane. Most of them are 10100 like I thought it would be. So it's got the Mac and the PHY actually built in to this SoC, which is phenomenal. But it's gigabit, it's not 10100. SDI 3.0, which is going to be used for the TF or SD card, and then all of the other pretty stock standard sort of interfaces, USB 2.0 hosting on the go, all of that sort of stuff. So we're going to have a look at how much power this consumes as well, and we're going to benchmark it with whatever we can throw at Geekbench and probably some Ghostscript, that sort of thing, and actually see what this does. But I mostly want to see if this thing that I've just assembled, it's brighter now by the way because I had a dicky light up there that I fixed, just works out of the box. Because if you're doing like wireless pen testing or anything like that, Cal Valley Tech Solutions, I'm looking at you, you might want to have a tinker with one of these. Ethernet, Wi-Fi, plenty of I/O, USB, embedded display. Like this is up your alley, mate. Yeah, if you're doing like wireless pen testing, this could actually be really handy. You might want to 3D print a little enclosure for it, which wouldn't be hard because you've already got all these offsets, standoffs, sorry, and screw holes. And I do a lot of 3D printing, so I might put a little bit of 3D printing up soon. I might even use some resin that was sent to me with one of my SLA printers to try printing a case for this. Let me know if you do want to see some 3D printing content, because I do FDM and SLA 3D printing, and I've been doing it for years, meaning to show something on this channel. And this might be perfect for it. I also think these might be left, right, and middle mouse buttons. Oh, it's autofocus having a fit. That's what it is. So we'll try that out. But yeah, definitely cool. Love to know, oh, that's finished flashing. I'd love to know what you think this could be useful for, because those Quad A53s, 64-bit SoC with Debian 12, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of potential, which is why I had to buy it. Thumbs up and like and subscribe to this video to support me spending my precious money on this sort of stupid stuff just to entertain you all. Now, that SD card is done, and I hope that had actually finished writing. So we're going to plug that in back here. And it's not a clicky type, it's just a push and forget about type. That's where most of my SD cards go. There's a whole wall of SBCs over there full of SD cards that I need to reclaim one day because I forget to take them out. And now one of these is going to be for power, probably that one. Oh, I got it right. So let's see if we can get some angle on the dangle of this thing. There we go. That's not a bad position, is it? So I don't know if this display is going to work out of the box. I don't know how the whole thing is configured. What we can do, we'll give this a minute. There's two little LEDs lit up at the moment. You can see the little purple glow from the blue and the red. If we don't get anything in the next minute or two on this display, I'll plug in the HDMI with an adapter. We'll see what we get on that display, and we can decide where to go from there. So I'll stop recording because this might take a few minutes. I'm going to graciously enjoy this beer. It's not going to be gracious. I'm going to spill it. But I'll come back to you once this has done something, or nothing and I've given up. Alrighty, I read the documentation. It does need to be enabled. So let's pop this back off for a minute, which you shouldn't do. What I'm going to put in here is hopefully cram in this Type A adapter, and then my wireless keyboard and mouse there. And this one, HDMI adapter, can go in the back of it. God, I hate HDMI, and I hate these tiny connectors, and I hate these cheap adapters. Sorry that I'm so full of rage, but whilst I can see the necessity, I'd rather EDP or, you know, mini DisplayPort or USB Type-C alt mode. Any of the above would be fantastic. So now, let's go to, what do we want? What do we want? We want HDMI input, which is that one. And then I'm going to plug it in now, and it's plugged in. The lights are on. Let's see what happens. Hopefully I get some signal. Otherwise, we'll have to go to UART. Now, whilst we're talking about this, I confirmed that it's Wi-Fi 5. So whilst it's actually doing its thing, we can have a look back here. We go into the 0. So it's Wi-Fi 2.4 and 5. So I'm not sure what standard is, but dual channel is pretty good, or dual band. And it's a LPDDR4, so it's pretty decent. Like, you know, there's stuff still coming out with DDR3. It is impressive that it supports low-powered, high-speed memory. Now, I've gone back to the Elgato. Hey, oh, look at that. That wasn't actually too bad at all. So, grab my keyboard and mouse over here. I'm just going to jam a network cable into it, assuming that the networking is working. Let's see if it, yeah, I mean, getting some activity there. And then I'm going to SSH to it and enable the display. So let me go find that IP address. I'll be back in a tick. All right, so apparently this is it. The user is Pi, according to that guess. And I found its IP address. So we can jump straight in here. Is it going to work? Is it going to do something? Yes. Ooh, nice. All right, got a little bit of customization there. So it's sitting at 61C, that's a little bit toasty, but it's not in the scary range yet. We have 4 gig of RAM in this one, no swap, that's fine, I don't think we're gonna need it. We used a decent sized SD card and it's auto expanded to fill the SD card, which is lovely. We have some CPU cores in here, so 4 cores, that looks pretty standard, I don't see anything weird there. D message did not show anything I missed there, so I'm pretty happy with it. But this is, okay, so it's only coming up as 100 megabit. Like I first thought, I'm going to expect that that's the expansion. So this little FPC cable here has a limited number of pins, and I think that might be a limiting factor, but 100 megabit is still plenty. Everyone wants gigabit. I don't know why. This thing probably couldn't do a gigabit throughput. Most SBCs don't have the I/O to handle gigabit. 10 megabit is fine for plenty of things. 100 megabit is fine for pretty much every SBC I've ever seen. If you need to stream 4K streams simultaneously to different devices, yeah, you might want gigabit, but even then, probably not. Moving back over here. So that is looking good. Now, there was instructions on doing that to enable LCD display. Paste. Ah, DKMS looking there. Doesn't say, but I'm assuming it is, just because it's compiling it on the fly. And then we might have to reboot it, or it might magically start working. Now, what else are we going to want? We'll probably want to join the Wi-Fi so I can get rid of another cable as well. And then we'll be able to see if it's actually got any decent signal. No, I don't care, Chrome. Stop telling me. Now, is it going to be a standard WPA? Oh no, network manager. Yep, that's fine too. We can do that. So back over here, paste pi 1 2 3 4. What? Oh, you need to specify the word password. Why? Why make you type more when it's almost certainly going to be that? Yeah. I mean, there's reasons, I know. I just think it's stupid. And then sudo reboot. That thing is rebooting. Let's go back and see what happens. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. All we need is power. I mean, there's got to be a joke or something there, isn't there? Hey, ha, 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 ha. Look at that. That is hilarious. That's the best thing I've seen in a long time. It's so tiny. That's amazing. Oh my God, this is so cool. Let's see if I can get a little bit closer. What's the best focus I'm gonna get here? Yeah, look at that. That is awesome. And I found out these pins, by the way, are just extra pins for you to use since the headers are taken up by this whole shindig. So that is it a touch interface? It doesn't look like it's touch. Let's see if I can get the mouse going now that we've got some sort of, in fact, I don't even know. No, I'm going to grab another battery in case this one went flat, and then we'll have another crack at this. One sec. All right, this thing is giving me infinite entertainment. I might even, what can I do? I can't really get that in any better position for you to see, but I mean, it does work. I can see the Wi-Fi signal there is actually all right because I'm probably about 10, 15 meters from the Wi-Fi receiver, and we're, oh my God, that's the tiniest terminal. That's awesome. It's the most space constrained Chrome I've ever seen. Is there any way? I've got to adjust my camera's brightness so you can see this better. Back in a sec. This is amazing. All right, this is about as good as I can get it. It really doesn't do it justice though, because this screen does actually have some good color. It looks all right. Oh, that's interesting. So the Wi-Fi disconnected and is reconnecting. That's possibly because I've just been unplugging and plugging stuff in and moving it around, but you can see it looks pretty smooth there. Now, what of course I'm going to want to try here, once that Wi-Fi reconnects, is youtube.com/@PlatimaTinkers, because I've got to support myself. Now, the Wi-Fi, of course, needs to reconnect first too. There's not enough pixels to actually see what's going on most of the time, but if we just go disconnect, yeah, and then we'll go connect. I mean, unless my internet's dropped out, that'd be rather annoying. Let's give that a tick to reconnect and see what's going on. All right, so it seems to struggle a little bit with Wi-Fi. It might be because of this stack that we've got built up around it. Unfortunately, there's no option for an external antenna, but as I said, it is going through a couple of walls and it's going a bit of a distance, so it's not really surprising that it's struggling a bit. Now, what I might actually, I don't know if it's going to be able to load the full page, like to the point where I can navigate around and actually click on one of the videos, but we'll see what it does, because oh yeah, look at this. We're getting there. Oh my God, if this works, this is going to be the best. I love this thing. I really do. Like, it worked out of the box with the SD card. Like, the documentation's rubbish. You're just guessing. But the guesses were correct because everything's pretty easy going. It's in English to start with. It auto-expanded. Everything is just doing what it should be doing for the most part, which is... Okay, so can I get to videos? Can I scroll? Oh my God, that's how much usable space I've got there. So let's go, that's all the way at the bottom. So is that a video? Can I click that? So it's going to be that one. Oh, you know, I can probably just zoom out. Yes, yes. 240 by 240 pixels, here I come. Oh, this is amazing. It's having, so if I go back to full resolution and full screen, it's having a mild fit, but it's doing the best that it can. Yes, go boy. I cannot believe this. That is most excellent. Can I possibly even get to like maybe the resolution bit? If I go for, I can't scroll vertically. Wow, so this thing is actually doing what it should. I don't know if there's going to be any hardware acceleration, but I think at this resolution we don't need hardware acceleration, so software, so nothing there. But there's probably a very good chance you could either compile the drivers for it, because it looks like it's got the headers included, which it needed for the screen we enabled, or you could forcefully enable it, because H618, you know, ARM Mali G31 should actually just work. That really is phenomenal. So look, let's jump back to the computer and have a look at the last few things, then we'll put it on the tier list. But that made my day. You could rickroll someone with this so well. Let's get back over here. I've got to stop getting distracted. So I put my camera back how it should be, but have a look at this. If we jump back over to the desktop here, there's a couple of things I wanted to point out. So they do have a 3.5-inch resistive touch display, but it looks like it's designed for the bigger Pi interfaces, or the bigger Pi boards. That being said, it's just using the 40-pin header again. So you could probably use it on this board, and that one has touch. What they also have though, and this I really like, is they've got information about customizing the boot logo. They've got videos and text, and I'm just using Google Translate at this point. But the fact that they've got information about how to do this is most excellent, especially if you want to OEM your own product. You've then got how to run a script automatically on startup, which you can just do in the SD card, which is FAT32 formatted. So joining Wi-Fi, running commands, whatever you want is all an option there. Even running Python scripts, which is brilliant. And then of course they support a config.txt, which we should be familiar with from Raspberry Pi and Armbian. This gives you a lot of options about pre-configuring things from your factory, if you want to call it a factory, if you're going to be shipping things out, if you want to, turn things on and off. And there's a lot of information. Now, whilst this has been going too, I've been keeping an eye on the power. Doing everything, including playing a YouTube video, it drew 300 milliamps, so 1.5 watts maximum. It's floating between 1.5 and 1 watt most of the time. When I'm really hammering it, I got it up to 2 watts, so 400 milliamps. So this is a very, very low-powered device. I'm just quite impressed with everything that they've done. Like, the documentation's rubbish, but the rest of it is pretty much on point. If we jump back over here, I'll just plug my Ethernet interface back in because I'm not sure of what the Wi-Fi IP address was. There we go. Ignore my bit of solder floating around. So then Pi. We've got a 6.1 kernel too. This, all in all, has kind of blown me away. I don't even know what to say. Let's SBC tier list this thing now. So if we have a look at what's going on there, ignore all my other tabs, there is one thing that's going to affect it to a degree, and this is growing quick, and that's this map. So they kind of cover that in here. They've got the equipment map. So a unique feature of the Walnut Pi system is that it phones home to overseas and reports its IP address and location, which is really bad, but you can disable it. It is enabled by default, very easy to disable. I just thought that was kind of hilarious. Now, before I go and show where I am, I'm going to pause recording for a tick because I don't know how accurate this is going to be, and I don't want to dox myself. I'm going to have a gander. One sec. All right, it's not too bad. I am the only Walnut Pi user in Australia, and it just says Australia. It doesn't give you any more information if you click it. And it looks like it's just got some basic details there. I don't know if I can easily translate. There we go. Translate the whole page to English. So Shenzhen has the most. Nanjing, Beijing, Australia's sitting down there with one. One of them's been online 350 days. That's pretty awesome. I might have to plug this in somewhere and leave it for a year or two and beat those numbers. So we've got some up in China, we've got some down there. Sorry, that's 5 up in, is that Russia? Yeah. Down in China. We've got some through Europe. Is that Europe? I'm so confused about the map. Yeah, that is Europe. Sorry, I'm used to actually seeing the names. And then over there, that's a rather disputed bit of territory at the moment. One in the southern US, one in the north there. or Canada as they call it. I mean, this is kind of cool. It's obviously given away a little bit of information. You'd have to go digging to see what it's really given away, but I'm the only user in Australia. That's pretty cool. And I want to win a high score, so I'm going to leave it plugged in for some time, I think. But tier listing it. Now, if we're going to tier list this thing, well, we've got to consider a couple of things. Let's get that out of the way. Yeah, I've got a thing over there which is like my reminder. Price and availability. It's only from China. It's pretty expensive, but they've got stock. Gonna have to give it a 2, sorry fellas, if you're even fellas there. So let's write this down because I never remember. 2. Features and specs. So it's a standard 0 form factor, good CPU, good RAM, eMMC, standard GPU, although the software isn't doing it. It's got Wi-Fi and Ethernet, gigabit, although only 10100 for the FPC connector, standard GPIO, so that's excellent. Sorry, no eMMC. It's got the SD card slot though. No RTC connector, no NPU or anything, can do 4K encoding, no PoE, no MIPI CSI. So the fact that like the main part, the basics and the form factor, rock solid. So I'm going to give this a 3. PoE would be overkill, I reckon. RTC battery connection wouldn't be too hard. H618 I'm pretty certain has MIPI CSI interface. So I forget the block diagram though. Let me just go have a quick look. It has... No, none of the above, unless I'm reading something wrong. That's all right. So that's why it doesn't have that. What else have we got there? No M2, of course, because it's a 0 form factor. It could have an external antenna connector. So yeah, I think 3 is pretty suitable for that. Documentation and support 1, just straight up. It's hard to navigate. The English isn't English. There were Mac, Linux, and Windows instructions. There is GitHub actually, and it does have information on all the customer. Ah, shit. It's got to be a 3. It actually does. It's not in English, but the documentation's good. Is that even a 4? Because the Google Translate was completely readable. I'm going to have to give them a 4 for their documentation. I hate doing that because it's bad. So software images. There's only one type, but it has a recent kernel, and it does include the Linux headers, and it's got, yeah, 6.1 kernel, and it's on GitHub, and it's up to date. So that's, like, I'd like if there was more variations, but that's one little thing out of about 6 factors I'm looking at there, so that's also a 4. Now, performance, general use, not a problem. It even works with this tiny display, which is just, like, is that not the most hilarious thing you've ever seen? You can actually see it quite well on an angle. I don't know why that is. I'll benchmark it. So I'm going to check how this thing goes with GhostScript like I did in the last video, but I'm going to run Geekbench on it too, because why the hell not? The rest of it, GPU, 2D and 3D should be fine. It's a well-established GPU. It's just going to need some drivers compiled or Chromium flags overwritten. Wi-Fi so-so. Ease of use, absolutely. 0 crashes, no issues there. So give that a 3. Accessories and compatibility. Power, good, USB Type-C. PoE, not optional for this, but so be it. No camera interface. 1 storage option. Supports a pile of different displays, including third-party because it's a standard header. It's going to support most hats, and it comes with kits, including, you know, these standoffs on the bottom. So it's not great. PoE would be cool, but generally things that come with Wi-Fi don't have a PoE option, so I understand that. No camera interface, but that's limited by the SBC. No eMMC is probably the only point where it falls down, so I also have to give that a 4. Now, if we all add all of these together, we have 7, 11, 15, and 5 more gives it 20 out of a potential 30. So this makes it into A tier. Now, the way I'm working that out, and I'm going to standardize this a bit more going forward because I've never really locked it in, is if it gets over 5, it's a D tier. Anything under 5 and under, F tier, goes in the bin. If it gets over 10, it's a C tier. Over 15, 5 and up is D tier. 10 and up is C tier. 15 and up is B tier. 20 and up is A tier. 25 up to 30 is S tier, because that's just phenomenal. Or it can get rubbish scores but do something completely unique, just meet a market need or excel in some other way. It can probably get you an S tier there. This is a solid A tier though, and honestly, if they fix the documentation and you know, had some alternative images, it would be S tier. Or just, you know, drop the price a bit and have it available through some other means, have some distributors or something. But all in all, I'm thoroughly impressed. I really like this little device, and I'm gonna find somewhere to plug it in, leave it going on a UPS, and try to get my high score on their data harvesting map. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you really like this. This is the sort of thing that I absolutely adore exploring, because there are so many use cases and ideas for this that you're all going to come up with, and I want to hear about them. But also, thank you to all my patrons. You guys are excellent. It's hugely appreciated that you continue to support me and that the numbers are growing still. Thank you to PCB Way for supporting this channel. Don't forget, link below, $5 off your first order. So click it to sign up. You don't have to order now. Just sign up before you forget. Unless you're on a TV, that's a little bit harder. I should stick some QR codes up. I might this time. I might remember. Then you can do it on your phone whilst you're watching, because apparently a lot of you are on TV. And just thank you to you for coming by. Your liking, your subscribing, your commenting is helping grow this channel. And this is still a hobby for me. This is still something that I do every 2 or 3 weeks, and just mess around with technology and meet other awesome people like yourselves, like everyone that comments below. It's always appreciated. So take it easy, stay warm, stay cold, whatever you're trying to stay. I'll see you next time. There's my thumbs up. Take it easy.